Okay, so welcome, Antonia and Lori and Alyssa and Julian. And, all right, I think I'm going to mute everyone else, so because there's some feedback issues that it's telling me. Okay, so by the way, if you ever want to talk, unmute yourself, talk, and then remute yourself is the idea, and that way we can. One of the big reasons why I like to do webinars is so that you guys can ask questions as we go. You can participate. It's not just a video. So make sure that you do ask questions. You can ask in the chat box. The chat box is not recorded, by the way. So, and it's not public or anything like that. So that's a way if you want to be private. Again, I've never had any student have any issues with privacy, real issues. They can be scared about something, but never like someone did something to them because of whatever. But just in case, let you know it is recorded, but the chat box is not put on YouTube. So you can ask questions that way, or you can just talk, and that works also. Let me talk about what this is. So first thing, my name is Larry, and this is the online Math 159 class. And this is such a weird quarter. This is the truly online class, whereas all the rest of my classes that I teach are not online except they're become online. And I'm sure you all know why, right? But I treat this one differently. You signed up for this class as an online student, and I'm treating you all as online students, which is different than students who are my face-to-face students that are forced to be online because we're all stuck at home. You probably understand all that. So this truly is an online class, which means I do expect you all to be able to handle online class without any issues on that type of thing. So that it's different than the other classes that have become online, just to let you know that. It's also a very different class. This is Math 159, and it has a purpose that's different than any other class I teach. The other classes, the goal of the class is to get you to learn the material that's in that class. That's not the goal of this class. Anyone know what the goal of this class is? Any thoughts? No idea what your goal is? The goal of this class is to get you to pass statistics next quarter or next semester when you take it. That's the only goal here, okay? There's no reason to take this class for the class itself, just because that's not what this is. This is a preparation class for statistics. And I will let you know, those students that are not prepared for statistics and take it, almost all of them fail. And it's ugly. It used to be we didn't have assessment tests, we had assessment tests and they weren't put into statistics, but now anyone can take stats, but the ones that shouldn't be there just fail. And that's no fun. No one likes to fail a class. So the idea of this class is to get you ready so that you can pass statistics. And that's it. That's the only goal, which means I treat it very differently than every other math class that I teach, because its goal is not itself, its goal is the next course. And hopefully you'll like what I do. If not, then that's the way it is. But I do my best. Another thing, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my desktop, and you're going to get to see the Canvas. Have all of you taken a look at the Canvas site already? The course? Okay, doesn't mean you have to have done anything, but just looked at it. And again, you can put the chat box. Okay, so you've looked at it, but I want to go through it and I want to go in detail, because reading it and having discussion about it are not the same things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share it. So first thing, before I do that, I want to let you know this is Zoom. The funny thing is, before last month, I think almost no one had even heard of Zoom. And now like Zoom is the word everyone uses. It's funny. I was one of the first users of all time on Zoom. So the good news is I'm very, very experienced in teaching online and using Zoom. Whereas all of my colleagues What they're doing is they're asking me how to do it because they've never done it before. So, but I've been using Zoom forever, and I was the only one at my entire college using Zoom, and now everyone has to use Zoom. That's weird. So the good news for you guys is that I know this technology better than just about anybody. Okay, at least anyone at my college for sure. Okay, I want to ask you, although it doesn't matter that much, but again, and again, you could lie if you want to lie. Where are you from? Or where are you, I guess, is what I should say. Not where you're from, but where are you sitting right now? What city? Are we looking at mostly Tahoe people? Are we looking at mostly not? At least the 4 of you. Okay, all over the place, it looks like. So we got people from all over California because I had no idea what I was getting into. I don't get to see your cities when you register. I just get it. But the good news is that that's fine. You never have to come to Tahoe. But I do want to let you know that when our when California gets back to normal, you want to come to Tahoe because it's one of the prettiest places in the world. So if the one person who's from Tahoe believes it, and the others, if you came here, you know it is beautiful. So if you ever get up here, go visit our lake. It's absolutely beautiful. You can come to the college and say hi to me if you want to, and see me in person if you want. But it is a really beautiful place, but you never have to come to Tahoe for this class. And in fact, you're not allowed to come to Tahoe because the governor has said no one's allowed to go anywhere. Sorry about that. So let me share the screen. And we're going to go to the syllabus. Go a little smaller. Just a minute. I want to be able to read the chat box, and it's really hard with this computer. Let me. No, I think I have to pause the share. And then I have to go to the chat box. It's a real pain. See, what I usually do is I work from my office computer. But the problem is that with my office computer, I'm not allowed in my office because everything is closed. So we're not allowed to leave home, basically. I'm sorry if things take a little bit longer than I'm used to, but that's the way it's got to be. Let's see if that works. Still not showing me the chat. But I'll get there. I'll find it. There it is. Got it. Okay, that way I can look at the chat and answer any questions you have them if you're putting in the chat. You're also welcome to talk too. So I want to go through the syllabus kind of line by line, talk about to expect and what this class is going to be about. So the first thing, it's Math 159, Math Preparation for Statistics. And as I mentioned, this is not about learning this class. This is about getting ready for stats. That's all that matters. Okay, there is no reason at all to like cheat your way through because it's a meeting. The grade in this class means nothing. What matters is that you're ready for next quarter to pass statistics. And that's not meaningless, that's really meaningful, okay? Or for you who are out of town, it might be next semester. We're in a quota college, but that's different for different colleges. So again, it's a really different goal than you're used to for other classes that you've taken. And I've never actually taught a class like this until this year, because we have some new legislation where we have to do this now. Okay. It's a 4-unit class, and just that means that it's supposed to take about 8 hours a week. You're supposed to multiply by 2, and that should be the number of hours, something like that. But that number is meaningless anyway, because some take longer, some take less time. It really depends on where you are mathematically. Some of you are it'll be a quick refresher and you'll have very little to do. And some of you are gonna really have to, kind of bang your head against the wall so many times it'll take many, many hours. It just depends on you. And everybody's different. As you know, I think, my name is Larry. And I'll tell you a little bit myself. I've been teaching, this is year 24 for me of teaching at Lake Tahoe Community College. But I've also taught I taught at Sonoma State. That was my first job after graduate school. I was almost full-time, but not enough to have a career out of it. That's why I moved to Tahoe. Sonoma County is beautiful too, but Tahoe had a full-time job for me, and I'm a mountain person. I grew up in the mountains. So I've been doing math forever. And not only have I been doing math forever, I have been doing online math almost since the beginning. In fact, I had a company called NetDreams where we taught people about this new thing called the internet. That was one of the things we had to do, was we had to give presentations about this new thing that no one had heard of. In fact, it wasn't called the internet then, it was called the World Wide Web. So I've been in it forever. I do a lot of coding, I do a lot of online everything. Okay, but I also teach face-to-face. I've been doing math forever. I went to UCLA, taught there at the end of my PhD program. I went to UC San Diego. So I'm a California guy, but I've been to, all the different public university systems. So I know all about the public ones. I don't know that much about private ones, though. But I know the math, I promise. Okay, and I know technology really well. So when it comes down to communication with me, there's a lot of different ways of communicating. One of the ways is called the Q&A board, and I'm going to click on that. And what this is for is anything that is not personal or private. That's where you should ask questions using that. And that way other people in your class can benefit from the conversation. So if you don't know how to do a certain math problem that you're working on, one of the homework problems or something, that's where you post your question, because that way other people can benefit from me helping you go through the solution to a problem. Does that make sense? Okay. Whereas if it's a question about, I don't know, you're having trouble with your internet, could you have an extension because your community has no electricity? Other people don't need to know about that, you know what I mean? And that would be more emailing me. But if it's anything that another student, if it's not personal and another student can benefit from the conversation, definitely any worked out math problem, that's something where everyone could benefit from. You do the Q&A, and it's really easy to do Q&A. Right now, no one's done it, so there's nothing here. So what you do is you hit reply, and then you type in your stuff. I have a question or whatever. But maybe you spell it right. There we go. And then you hit post reply. I'm not going to do that because you don't need to see I have a question on the Q&A form. So I'm going to hit cancel. And that's it. It's very easy. You can also put math equations in there, or you can just type them out however you want. But it's really easy to use this. I want to ask you, you can put in the chat box if you want. Have you used Canvas before, yes or no? For other classes or something else? Okay, so the answer is yes. Okay, by the way, as I mentioned, I'm very, very involved in the online teaching community. And I was one of the group of people that decided that California should use Canvas. We had to make a decision on, California adopted one vendor for all of California. And I was on the committee to select Canvas. And the reason why we selected it is because it's really easy to use. Do you agree, those who've used it? Yeah, I don't really need to give whole lessons on how to use Canvas because that's never a problem. The problem is always math. Math is always hard, but not how to use Canvas. So the good news is we're using a system that is pretty easy to use. Okay, it doesn't mean everything is like immediately familiar, but it means that you should be able to figure things out with some help in mind. And I can also zoom and share a screen with you if you ever can't. And I can walk you through something if there's anything in Canvas that you don't understand how to do. Is that clear? Okay, I just want to know it. let you know I'm here to help you. Not only that, I should let you know I am so bored. You know, I'm so bored. Yeah, yeah, I'm not allowed outside. I have a huge network group of friends. I'm a very social person. None of us can see each other. We Zoom meet together. It's not the same. So I have a lot of time on my hands. So if you want to make me smile, ask some questions because that's a lot better than reading the depressing news that's going on. So at least as long as this horrible thing happens, all I have, you know, is my cat, who's wonderful, by the way, and my teaching. So hopefully you'll ask questions and don't feel bad if you ask a lot because I want to be able to answer a lot. Okay, so let me go back. We're going through the syllabus. Right now, if you hit the home button, that takes you to syllabus. That's going to change next week. The first week, I think the syllabus is the most important page. And then next week, it's the week-to-week stuff. So I changed the home button. I'll show you where that is later. So again, there's my Q&A board. I do have a number at the college, but I'm not allowed at the college anymore. So it's not the best. It's not the best way to communicate because I'm not going to be checking that often. I never go. I'm not even allowed in. So sorry, but Zoom works, and we can talk. If you want to talk like this, we can always talk on Zoom, and it doesn't have to be recorded, by the way. You can talk, you know, one-on-one without other people hearing. That's not a problem. Emailing me is, and Q&A, I will be checking many, many times a day. Okay, if I don't get back to you within a day, it probably means we have no electricity in Tahoe. Okay, because I do get back. That's just my personality. But we could have no, you know, electricity goes out sometimes. Especially, I worry if you know about Northern California in the fall, they close down electricity a lot. Do you remember that? Well, Tahoe's fire season is June and July. So if it's windy here, I worry that they're going to close our electricity down because of just like they did in Northern California in September. So then I won't get back to you if I don't have electricity, I can't do much. So hopefully that won't happen, but it might, especially if it's windy. So just to let you know, it says, but this is wrong. You used to be able to find me in my office. Everything has changed. So it says, if you can get to LTCC, which is, no, you cannot get to LTCC. Sorry about that, but everything's closed. So I wrote this syllabus before everything happened. So maybe I should modify it already. I was just so hopeful we'd come back, and we're not coming back. Okay, so just to let you know, one of my big missions in life the last few years has been to make sure that I never lose a student because they can't afford the book and the materials. Okay, and I was one of those very poor students, and I could never have made it through without financial aid. And financial aid is much harder to come by now than when I was. So what I have done is I have made sure that there is no cost. So the book is free. This is a new class. Okay, this is a class where in the old days you'd start in arithmetic, you'd take 4 classes, and then you get to statistics. Now we have 1 class to get you ready for stats. That didn't exist, and so I wrote the book. Okay, so I wrote the textbook, and it's being used all over the state now. Just kind of makes me happy, and I made it free for everyone. So to let you know, if you find any mistakes, let me know so that I can fix the mistakes, because I made them, but they're grammar mistakes or whatever. I'm a mathematician. I'm not a perfect grammar person. I do my best. But thousands of people have used it already, which is kind of nice to know. And they found a few little mistakes. No one's found any major ones though. You can, this isn't true anymore. You can't check out anything in our library anymore, books. because everything is closed. You can check out technology at a library. I'll mention that too. Maybe this is a good time actually. So if you can come to Tahoe, or if you live in Tahoe, and then of course you can go. Our library is going to be not quite open, but there's going to be a way to get computers if you don't have a computer to use for this class. So they have Chromebooks for checkout for the entire quarter, because they knew that students are going to be struggling, and all of a sudden everything's online and not all students are ready for online. So if you need to get a Chromebook, you can come to our college. You have to give it back in June, by the way, at the end of this class, at the end of June. But you can get it for the entire quarter, and it works for what we're doing. You can also get a statistics calculator. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, if you click on this link right here, then this is the book, and you can see my little picture there. And this is all the stuff we do. So if you click the first one, front matter is not important. That's just like nothingness. I didn't write that actually. Then these are the sections. So for example, we're in this section. And there it is. Okay, and what I have done is I really made this to focus on the statistics class. And that's why I said this book didn't exist. There's plenty of books that do decimals, fractions, and percents, for example, but not with 100% focus on statistics. Does that make sense? So what I did is for each section, I just start out with just a math example. But then what I do is all problems, every section has a statistics word problem that you're going to see in the statistics class. The difference in the way between the way you're going to see it here and the way you're going to see it next quarter or semester is that I do the statistics part for you in the example. And then the solution is the arithmetic part. But what I'm hoping is that after reading through the book and all the exercises and the examples, you're going to get used to all the vocabulary of statistics. So for example, we spend one of the harder parts of this class is to talk about whether two events are independent. Okay, you actually don't even have to know what that word means. You'll do this problem. But if you hear it enough times, hopefully it'll be into your body a little bit, into your brain, so that when you get to the statistics class, you're going to be used to this vocabulary. And that's one less thing to learn. So again, you could read through this and not worry about these words, but you should worry about these words. Does that make sense? Because this is what's happening next quarter, and that's the whole point, to get ready for next quarter. Then, if you go down, more examples. Again, uniform distribution. We have a whole chapter on uniform distribution in the statistics class. Okay. And then if you go down more, I made a video. So I'm not going to watch the whole video because 2 minutes and 48 seconds, but I made a video so that what I do know is that most people learn more from videos than they do from reading. That I've learned about students nowadays. And I can say nowadays, but I'm the same way. I start my morning every morning with a lecture that I watch because I want to learn new stuff. So something you probably aren't that interested in, but I'm going through advanced quantum physics right now, just for fun. So what you're doing is you're taking this class just for fun or for something. So I made a video, and there are other videos too. Some of these videos are me, and some of these videos are other people. Okay, the ones that are other people aren't incorporating it into statistics like I do. So that didn't exist. I kind of created this. Okay, and I want to remind you, ask any questions if you have them. So this is what the book looks like, and this is kind of how how you're going to move through it. You know, you want to read through it. Even if you could do the homework without reading the book, you still should read the book so you can get used to the vocabulary of statistics. Okay, let's look at a little more. I've talked about the course already and student learning outcomes. I'll let you read through that. The prerequisite is a heartbeat. If you don't have one, then you can't take this class. So that's it. Okay, I grade on a 90, 80, 70, 60 scale. I want to make sure it's standard and simple. There's 20% of the class is homework, 30% of the midterm, and 30% is final, and then 20% is discussion posts. Okay. I think we have another person. Let's see who just popped in. We have Rebecca.
Hi.
Hi, what's your last name, Rebecca? I have this one, Rebecca. Okay, I just taking, and I'm going to mute you so that we don't have the background, but if you want to ask any questions, unmute yourself and then ask questions, please. Or you can type in the chat box. Okay, so I'm going through this, so that's going to be how the course works. Okay, as I, oh wait, here's our most important thing here. And that's my cat. So one thing is that because I'm not allowed to college, I'm doing this from home, so you get to see my cat. Okay. All right, so I want to warn you about something. I treat this course differently than any other course I teach because the purpose of this course is not to pass the class. The purpose of this course is to learn the material so you can pass statistics. So honestly, there is no reason to cheat. I mean, there really isn't, because you don't get anything out of it, because passing doesn't matter. You can still take stats if you don't pass, but you won't pass stats because you won't have learned anything. You know what I mean? You won't be ready for it. So I'm a lot lighter on kind of my exam policies and stuff. So the exams they're going to be timed, so I want you to get used to the stats class, but they're not proctored. They're not as formal as a regular class because there's no reason to cheat. Because if you cheat in this class, you'll fail the stats class. And what's the point? You know, you could just not take this class and take the stats and fail it if you wanted to. So there's no reason to cheat. So that's why I don't have to worry. Hopefully I don't have to worry about proctoring and all that kind of stuff. So, but I do want to make it timed. And there's your cute one. And I do want to make it timed because I want you to get used to how it's going to be in your statistics class. And a statistics class is going to have a time test. But the difference is that in the statistics class, it'll be proctored. Okay, except this quarter because proctors, like, you're not allowed to leave your house. But other than that, it's always proctored. Okay, and you only have one attempt at each problem on the exams. Okay, which is different than the online assignment policy. With the online assignments, you can keep trying the problems over and over and over again until you get it right. Okay, so it's very different, the exam versus the assignments. So I want to let you know that for the assignments, they're all due on Sundays. Does not mean you should do it on Sunday. What I recommend is do it during the week and then ask questions as you go. Okay, the other thing is that if you request an extension, the extension request has to be made by Friday, because I don't want you to wait till the last minute. I like to reward people for not procrastinating. And so try doing it by Friday, and then if you realize you're not going to make it by Sunday, send me an email on Friday saying, hey, can I have an extension? I'll always say yes. But if you send me an email on Sunday asking for an extension, I'll always say no. Okay, unless there's some true disaster. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Okay, any questions at all about these online assignments before we move on? Later, I'll show you what they look like. Okay, live webinars are in right now. So one thing, I try to make it easy for everyone. And I just read about this Zoom bomber thing. Hopefully we don't have that problem. But um, the link that you use to get into this webinar that you're in right now will work for all the webinars. So that's the same. I stay, keep consistent. And I use my one link, my Zoom link for all of my webinars. Just to let you know, if you accidentally come in at 8:30 in the morning on a Monday, you're gonna have to learn calculus. Because that's when I give my calculus webinars for that class. So beware. So what I try and do is I make the webinars every other Monday and then every other Tuesday. So once a week, but they switch back and forth between Mondays and Tuesdays. What I found is I don't want to shut anyone out by saying it's always the same time. Because then if you have something scheduled, like say if I always made it Monday at 6 and you had another class or something at Monday at 6, then you can never make a webinar. So that I've learned that if I switch it back and forth, that works. I've learned that evening works better than day, although our life is so shattered right now, I have no idea what schedules work anymore. But at least it used to work better in the evening. So that's why I do 6 o'clock. Okay, but if there was enough requests, I can make it a different time. Okay, there's the orientation webinar, which we're doing right now. And that you must attend live. Okay, that's why I do it multiple times. I even offered a third time if somebody wanted it. And I have a feeling, given that we only have like 65 people here, the other 23 maybe will all come this evening, but probably not. And I'll probably have to do another time. On the other hand, the regular webinars, you can watch those archived. And what I do is I post them on YouTube. Sorry if you get kicked out, or it might be internet issues. That's usually why you get kicked off. That can happen sometimes. But I will post the regular webinars on YouTube, and by Sunday, you must watch it. So better is to go live so you can ask questions if you have them. But if you can't, then you can always watch on YouTube, and then I'll show you how that's going to look and how you're going to show me you watched it. Okay. If you don't watch it, then I take off a major penalty. So don't even think about it. For everyone you don't watch, I take off 5% of your course grade. So basically, you have to watch them. And for some reason, if you didn't watch it, but then like a month later you say, "Oh, please," what I do is I let you write a 4-page paper on the notes that you took, 4 pages of notes from watching it. And that's a whole lot harder than just watching it and not have to do anything. Okay, other than just learn. Still good to take notes, so. Okay, you're gonna be asked to do a discussion post every week. Okay, this week's just a fun one, and I'll show you in a little bit what those look like. And what I'll try and do is I'll try and do a model one, so you get the idea. And so discussions are important. And the discussions are due on Thursday for your initial post, and then your reply has to be done by Sunday for every week. But what I do is if you do it by Wednesday, then I'll look at it, and if it, for your initial post, and if it doesn't work, then I'll let you know so you can fix it and not lose points. If you do it on Thursday and it doesn't work, then you just lose points. So I like to give kind of extra benefits to those who are not procrastinators, because I believe that's a good life skill, is to not procrastinate. So if you can learn not to procrastinate, it's not just a math thing, it's a good life thing. Okay, I've never heard an employer saying, you know, I really love procrastinators. People like it if you can get things done, not at the very last minute. Okay, so calculators, you need a calculator for this class. I recommend the TI-84. It's not necessary, but the reason why I recommend it is that's what I use and pretty much everybody uses in statistics. And again, the whole point of this is to get used to statistics. So if you know how to use the TI-84, when you walk into your statistics class next semester or quarter, then you have one less thing to have to learn. So that's why I recommend that. If you live in Tahoe, or you can get to Tahoe and come back to Tahoe by late June, then, which you're not allowed, I don't think you're allowed to do if you live away, then we have them for free. Okay, you can check them out for the entire quarter for free. What I did is I took advantage of naive high school kids. It sounds awful, doesn't it? So what I realized is they all sell their calculators on eBay right after the AP exam. So I get really cheap calculators and then I donate them to the college. So that way you guys don't have to pay. Now, if you live somewhere else, that's a whole different thing. Other calculators will still work. But again, almost everyone everywhere uses a TI-84 or Nspire. That's the other one, that's fine too. It's a newer version. Okay, I'm gonna have office hours 5 days a week. And it's kind of a dumb word. It shouldn't be called office hours anymore because I don't have an office. I guess it should be home hours. And they're gonna be on this Zoom platform. So again, it's the same link. So you always know how to get to it. And I'll be around. If you came in today though at 10:10 exactly, I think I went about 3 minutes late and I was still talking calculus. Yeah, and don't get scared if I'm talking calculus because everyone can come to my office hour, whether they're you guys or my calculus students or my regular statistics students, because I teach a bunch of classes. So the office hours are for everyone and we take turns if there's a group of people. The office hours are not recorded. So that's all private or somewhat private. There could be someone else in the room, but you know, in the Zoom room. If you have a learning disability, then we'll do our best to accommodate it. The main thing that most people need if they have a learning disability is extra time on the test, and that will happen for you, but you need to contact me and contact the Disability Resource Center. Okay, and their phone is there. I forgot to do it, but I'll pop up the link to the Disability Resource Center. They have a website. Okay, and if it's another disability, like a vision disability or a hearing or whatever, we'll make that work for you also. So whatever it is, that will happen. Tutoring. So it says tutors available in the Math Success Center. That's not true anymore because no one's allowed to go to the college. So we now have tutoring in what's called the Cranium Cafe. So we have tutors at our college that are around all day long. And all you have to do is click that button and then it'll Zoom you. I don't know if it's really Zoom, but it'll link you to a tutor to work with. Okay, I do want to let you know about me personally. If you try to ask me a question after 9:30 p.m., sometimes after 9, I'll be asleep. So don't expect to get anything back until around 4 a.m. Today it was about 3. I'm an early to bed, really early to rise person. So expect that. You know, don't ever expect me to answer anything at night, you know, once it starts getting past 9:30 or so, I'm history. But I'm very alert at 4 in the morning. So that's just my own schedule. Okay. And then all day long too. After this, I'm probably going to do some skiing just because I got to get outside because we got some new snow last night. On it for, I think got 2 more days of skiing and then it's time to hike after that. But then I'll be back again. Okay. So this is just a summary of the class. This is the schedule of all the things that are due. I want to mention something and I want to apologize. The homework also costs nothing, by the way. I'm not apologizing for that. I was able to get a grant. I got a bunch of people and we worked on homework assignments. And so that's all done. It's on a platform called My Open Math. You won't even notice, it'll be Canvas for you guys. But there is a problem with these study skills assignment. And unfortunately, for some reason, the video links don't work anymore. This morning, early morning, I emailed Roy, who created those assignments, and I don't have access to, saying, please fix your links. So don't get too frustrated if the links don't work. And if he doesn't fix them, I don't have access to it, so I can't fix them. But if he doesn't fix them, I'll make sure that I give you full credit on that part of each assignment. I'll have to go into individually. Hopefully he'll fix them, or I might just take them out. But week 1, study skills are really important to be able to succeed in statistics. So I figured we should do some study skill stuff. And then there's a little bit that's not about study skills, and that is rounding and scientific notation. That's one short assignment. And that one I did, my team and I wrote that one. So that one I could fix. If there's any problems with that one, I can fix. And I can fix pretty much everything else for the rest of the quarter. Just these study skills one I didn't make. Wasn't in my group. Any questions at all so far? Okay, we're getting there. I want to let you know, I try to make these around an hour. Webinars around an hour. I figured that works. Okay, normally after this week, the module page is where the home screen is going to be. I think in week 1, the syllabus is the most important. And then after that, the weekly stuff. And let me go to course info first. This basically has all the stuff, a lot of the stuff that I've already talked about. Webinar login information, Q&A forum, about myself, and my how to contact and stuff. Okay. There's the learning outcomes, and then there's the textbook. And then there's some stuff about Canvas, our DRC, and just how to be nice to each other. So now week 1. Okay, I want to show you kind of how every week is going to basically be the same, except for the exam weeks. So the first thing that happens is I just go over the things that you can be learning about. That's really short usually. It'll take you 10 seconds, the whole thing. You hit the next button, by the way. That means you don't have to go back to the module. Okay. So we're here at noon. That's what we are right now. There's also going to be a repeat at 6. You do not need to go to the 6 o'clock one because it's just a repeat of what we're doing just now. This login information is always going to be the same. Hit next. Okay, so notice tomorrow evening, that's going to be the first webinar that is a math webinar, not just how to do the course, but actually going over math. It's probably going to be short because I might talk a little about study skills too, because there's not as much math in the first week because you're just getting started. So don't be surprised if it's a lot less than an hour. But that's tomorrow. Right now, it just says below is the login information. What'll happen is I'll give the webinar, and then after tomorrow night, it'll have the video itself to watch if you missed it. But obviously, I can't put the video there because the video hasn't been recorded yet. I haven't done it yet. So, but normally there'll be a video. Okay, but the idea is it's better to watch live than it is to watch archived. Hit next. Okay, so what I've done is I have created a link for the textbook sections. This week we only do one section that's kind of short content-wise, because you just get figured out what the class is about. Normally there'll be multiple links on all the different textbook links. And that's the same textbook I showed you, but it focuses on what's happening during the week. These are the videos. So there were 2 videos, it turns out of that textbook for that section. Okay, let me go back to the module and just show you what just happened. So what we just did is I showed you where it says week 1 all the way up to assignments. So after video week 1, then you got to the assignments. Okay, I start out, and by the way, this is not going to be like every week, but this week, I start out with just a fun assignment. Okay, and this week's assignment is to get to know each other. Kind of a little game way. So what I want you to do is I want you to write down 3 things, 2 are true and 1's not true about yourself. Okay, and notice it says, please introduce yourself by stating 2 truthful facts about yourself, 1 thing that's not truthful. You're going to see if other students can guess what are truthful and what are not truthful. Then respond to at least other students. I should say, let me fix that now. My grammar's not always perfect, I apologize. Then respond to at least 1 other students list. So then respond to at least 1 other students list to see if you could figure out which are truthful and which are not truthful. Just let you know, this is one of those things where it doesn't take any work to do this. So you're gonna make people happy if you respond to them and guess. Okay, don't make someone cry because no one responded, because that's no fun. So if you see someone that doesn't have any responses, respond to them, okay? Okay, finally, after someone has responded to your list, comment on whether that student was correct, and then write about your plans for your future coursework or career. Okay, again, not hard to do. This is, if you don't get 10 out of 10 on this, you're just like, I don't know. You're not doing any work because there's nothing to do here. Do you agree? It's just fun. So please, everyone get 10 out of 10. Again, you got to do your initial post by Thursday, and then your other responses by Sunday. So I'll show you mine. There's a lot of other people's too, but I always like to post. For some reason, I think this is the first class I have where everyone was posting like 3 days earlier than class even started. I was kind of surprised. Usually people wait, which I was fine. So it took them, so I was like towards the bottom here. Okay, so here's my post. I figured it'd be fair for me to play the game also, even though I'm not a student, okay, but just your math instructor. I'll do my best to help you become acquainted or reacquainted with the mathematics that you will need in order to succeed in the stats class that you're going to be taking after completing this class. Here are my 3 statements. See if you can guess which ones are truthful. So number 1, I was a politician for 9 years, winning my first election by just 3 votes, and my second election with over 90% of the votes. Okay. Number 2 is my YouTube station, the one with the videos that I created for this class, has almost 1 million views. And number 3 is when I was in college, I personally disconnected the communication system on the space shuttle, forcing the astronauts to stay in orbit for an extra day. So 2 of those are true, 1 is not true. I won't tell you, by the way, until Sunday. So you could guess if you want. In fact, I think Lori, you already guessed. Lori thinks number 2 and 3 are the truths. Okay. And number 1's not a truth. Okay. And again, I'm not going to tell you. I will eventually tell you, but I'm not going to tell you yet. So you can guess, and you can guess it all. This is the one assignment where you can guess everything. So you can respond to everything. Okay. And other people have already posted. One of the things I recommend you do is after you go and click the reply button, so let me show you what it looks like again. These all look the same. We already did one of these, but if you hit reply, that's just a new post. And you hit post reply, I'm going to cancel. Then look to make sure it really did post. Just to make sure there's no internet connection issues or anything like that that happened at just the wrong time. It's always a good idea to double check to make sure that your post actually worked. Okay, because technology, weird stuff happens. I think you all know that, right? So that's why you want to double check. Okay. And so again, to do your own, to start, you hit that first reply. but then to reply to someone else, you reply on their post. So if I want to reply to Nicole's post, I'm going to hit this reply button like that. Okay. Any questions on how these things work? Okay, so now let me go back. By the way, if you hit the discussions, something I always do is I pin the ones that are most relevant. Q&A forum will always be pinned at the top because it's always important for you to be able to ask a question when you have them. And then whatever week we're in, I'll always pin that week's discussion post. Okay, just a note, if you go to week 2, that one, I think someone actually already did that, which is a little early, which is okay. That one, you should only reply to one person's post, because if you answer 2 people's questions, then there's going to be someone who is left out who doesn't have a question to answer. So all the rest of the posts, you're going to post a math question. Someone's going to answer a math question. Okay, so you're going to do like a homework problem that you post. Not I mean, you're going to make up a homework problem, and then someone else is going to answer. So don't answer 2 people's posts, or then there's going to be someone left out, and that's bad, because no one should be left out. Any questions? But for the Q&A and for the 2 truths, 1 untruth, it's fine if lots of people answer. Okay, let me go back. We're almost done. So after that, I'll show you more of a typical assignment, which is the decimals, rounding, and scientific notation exercise. It'll look a little different for you because you're not, oh yeah, no, it will look the same. So you're gonna see this, you can hit start assessment, and then you're gonna work on it. And just to let you know, if you get it wrong, so I don't know, place 7.478 in the place value charts. So if you thought it was 7 and the tenth was, say, you thought that was a 7 and then 4 and an 8 for some reason, which is wrong, by the way. And they also want you to round this to near a tenth. And if you did, let's say 7, and pretend we did all the rest, I don't want to waste your time. And one thing, there's a video that can help you. And where are we going? Whoops, cancel. I need to submit. I think my screen's too small. Just a minute. One thing with Zoom is that not having multiple screens like I do from work usually, it's a little harder to see all of the pieces. No, it wants me to do them all. So I'm going to go to a different question. There we go. That's a better one. Okay, so let's say I round out to 1 decimal place. I do 9.9. The next one, 3 decimal places. Let's say I also did 9.9. And the third one, 4 decimal places. I did 9.902. Then I could submit. It may not like me because I'm the instructor. Appears to be untouched. Sorry, cancel. I submitted everything instead. Then I go to the next one. I see. It might be, where am I? Oh, I know what the problem is. I can't see the bottom of my screen because I have the Zoom thing. Sorry, it's hard with only a single screen. Let's put it there. Just a minute. that. That one. Okay. And by the way, you can go back to it. Okay. And when you finish it, you can look at it and then you could redo the problems you got wrong. You do it as many times as you want. And if you get it right and then you redo it and get it wrong, it'll still give you 100% because you got it right once. You could try it as many times as you want and not get penalized. That's kind of what I wanted to show you. Any questions about that? Just about done. Sorry, I can't see stuff. Yeah. Okay, and when you do all the assignments, then you're done for the week. Okay. Unlike the regular statistics class, your test does not have to be proctored. So it'll be timed but not proctored. When you get to the regular stats class, if you take my online stats class, that's a proctored test. But this is different because there's no reason to cheat at all on these. So the good news is, I'm going to stop the share. There we go. The good news is I pretty much said what I need to say about the class. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording because I've said what I need to say.